This is Scott Augustine with Labor Strategy. I am going to be showing you Attendance on Demand today. Attendance on Demand is a time and attendance application that has a bidirectional interface into the Paychex Preview application. Any new hires, any master file information that is entered within the HR payroll system, that's going to transfer into our system via file transfer, and then obviously at the end of the pay period, all the hours are going to move back into the payroll system. I'm going to jump right into the application here. We're going to go in initially as a manager, and then we'll look at the different options associated with that as well. I am now in the system as a kind of a payroll HR person slash manager. The reason I say both is this tree structure right here on the left-hand side, this is definable by you from a naming convention to what it points to. We can make it as simple as you need it for a manager that may have some sort of skill set issue or focus issue or whatever the reason may be, or even a role within the organization. So I may want them to see just X. These are what we call views. Again, they're definable by you, and again, can vary by user associated with this. We're just going to kind of go down this tree structure, and we're going to hit some of the highlights associated with it. Again, the goal is hopefully if you see enough that interests you, we're certainly going to dig into the system and set up a live demo where we could look at some different scenarios. I want to look at one scenario where we can drive basically the employee's schedule can drive labor allocation within the system. So I have 3 issues here. 2 of them are critical. They're going to be show up in red associated with it. So if you can remember, red is bad and green is good, then you can manage the system. And so we're going to click on that. And we're going to drill down, and we have 3 employees here, and we're going to go into George Costanza here. Now, this is going to drill down into his time card where there's a problem associated with that. So in this example right here, this employee's got a missing punch right here. But before we fix this, I want to show you some background. I'm going to go into this employee's schedule, and we're going to look at the schedule associated for this employee on the 19th. So basically, this will default to their home department, but on this day, I have him working 7 to 11, in job 307. This could say a name, it could say lifeguard, it could say front desk, it could say fitness, etc. So all these things are definable by you, what's in here. I have a code as of right now, but again, the name and convention can be in there. And then 11 to 2, it's in a different job, and then from 2 to 6, finally, in another job associated with that. So that's what's set up in the schedule behind the system. I'm going to go back into his time card from here. And again, we're going to look at this missing punch. So this employee punched in at 7:30, his normal time, and let's just assume he punches out at 6 o'clock. And when I put this in, this could be driven via the web as well. So the employees would just basically simply punch in and out over the web. I'm just going to put 6 p.m. in there. And when I do that, it's going to adhere to the labor allocation associated with the schedule. So it automatically allocated from 7:30 to 11 to job 307. And then from 11 to 2 p.m., 377, and then 2 to 6 p.m., 304. And again, that's what the name is that I literally have set up in the system. That could easily say aquatics, it could say swim lessons, it can say fitness, etc. So those, again, are all definable by you, but that labor allocation happens automatically based off the schedule, and then you'll see the labor allocation down here associated with it as well. So that all takes place. That in turn goes into Paychex, and in turn can go into your GL as well. Again, we had a couple employees with a problem, so we're going to try and fix all 3. We're going to go to the next employee here. Here we have Bobby Knight's got a missing punch. Now, what I should have done initially is kind of gone over what this time card looks like. Here I have the date. Here I have the schedule right here. I can do in-cell editing right in the schedule as well. I can modify that as well right there. In this example, I'm pulling 30 minutes out for lunch as long as they work a minimum of 6 hours. Those rules are all definable by you, by group associated with that. So in this example, this employee came in at 7, left at 11:36, came back at 12:30, and left for the day at 3:30. If you're doing lunch or meal punches, we have some flexibility with that as well, too. So if I go in, let's delete this punch just to show you how this would work. So if this employee forgot to punch out for lunch, we see some systems where we have to actually put them in the correct order. Here, all we'd have to do is say, okay, you left at 11:34 a.m. Simply click on that, enter that in, and basically what that's going to do is look at it and put it in the logical order associated with that. So I don't have to go in essence, put those in the correct order. The system's smart enough to do that. Everything that I do within the system creates an audit trail. Again, I'm in this Bob Jones. I've adjusted this employee a number of times, so it's going to show a timestamp right there associated with it. And then it's also going to show who added that. So anytime anyone adds, deletes, changes anything within the system, this is going to automatically track that associated with that. So I'm going to minimize that, and we'll go back into it. And here's our initial problem that was flagged, in essence, the red. So I'm going to go in and just put 4P, assuming we verify this employee forgot to punch in and out. When I do that, again, that's going to create that audit trail that's in timestamp. When I did this, again, I have a lot of transactions here. Hopefully you don't have this many. I can also put a note in here as well if I wanted additional information. So I have a freehand note that I can put in. I'm just going to put fixed punch. Hit OK. Then you're going to see Friday, April 19th. That's going to be in bold. If I mouse over it, there's my note. This will stay with the time card forever. So if I need any, history or anything along that nature, that information's there. Again, we had one final issue associated with that, so we're going to go into the final employee. Here I have a situation where this employee was supposed to leave at 5, left at 8 p.m. I don't want to change anything. All I'm going to do is right-click and acknowledge it. It's not going to remove the exception. In essence, just what it did is created an audit trail that I reviewed it. So it's kind of a sanity check before you're on payroll. What do I need to look at? Late ins, early outs, et cetera. And again, those are all definable by you, by group. So, what is late in? If I have an office staff and say, I really want to know after they leave a half hour, but maybe if it's, one of the aquatics employees, I want to know if they leave, 10 minutes late type situation. So again, those are all definable by you, by group. Within our system, we have what we call a pay class. And that's just a group of employees and a rule surrounding these groups of employees as well. All right, so we fixed everything. We go back into it. Now we look at a situation where red is bad and green is good. So everything we defined as a problem has been fixed, but I can also click on my hours right here. This brings up a snapshot of all my employees' hours and all my pay codes. So if I look at it on overtime, if I sort on that, anyone with overtime is brought up to the top here in descending order associated with that. So if I need a report, I can go up to this little Excel button, click on Excel. It's going to open up that Excel spreadsheet associated with that and then drop everything in. So all these views, kind of as a rule of thumb, can be dropped into an Excel or PDF, but most people like Excel. That's why I keep doing that. Or if, Cameron Diaz is never supposed to have overtime, I could always just click on that and drill down right into her time card and see what happened associated with that. So, who made what changes, et cetera, who approved things, those types of things. All right. Let's look at another employee here, and I want to show you. Let's look at Cosmo Kramer. Let's pick on him. So if I have an employee that goes from different jobs and then gets different rates of pay associated with that. So I'm going to go from his time card into his personnel information, and then I'm going to go into what we call a transfer rate. And I have one in here now, but let's remove and start fresh here. So I'm going to go in and add one of these. So these, I have division, department, and job. Do not get caught up with these naming conventions. I can actually have more than 3 levels. These naming conventions can be whatever you'd want. These are the main headings, or what we call work groups. Under each one of these, you have unlimited fields. So, and again, I could have codes or names in here. So here, let's say this person goes from the normal job of 308 to 304. I could replace, add to, or multiply. Let's just replace and say, you know what, if they go to 304, they're going to get a rate of pay of, let's say, $16.27. So we're going to add that. Now, I'm going to go back into his time card. Now, this could be driven by the schedule. It can be driven by basically a transfer at a clock or via the web, also a transfer after the fact via Mandra, and that's what I'm going to do here. So on this day, I'm going to go in and do a transfer and say, you know what, on this day at 8 o'clock, he went into job 304, hit OK, and what that's going to do is then move that employee over associated with that, and then for those hours, those 7 hours, it's going to pay them the $16.27. Then it's also going to do a calculation for the overtime there as well. So it's going to look at the Fair Labor Standard Act overtime calculation, say what is it, based off of that, it added it up. Now I actually have 2 labor allocations here. One is job 303, but there he's getting his base rate because there's no transfer rate associated with that. And then in this example, when he transfers into job 3 or 4, he's getting a different rate of pay. I also have a shift, too, that probably would not be applicable in your situation. Again, this is just a demo database set up for that. All right, let's look at a couple other things here. So one, I want to go in and look at, I have an issue here. I have one critical issue. I'm going to click on that, drill down into it. Here I have Coach K associated with that. I'm going to click on that, and he's sick today. So here's sick, vacation, personal. Keep in mind this is going to mirror whatever your naming convention is. So I'm going to go in and see he has 0 sick time. But let's just say I may not be the best manager. I should have looked, but I didn't, and I go and I give him sick time. When I give him sick time, if he doesn't have it, it's going to flag it as insufficient balances because I told the system to do that. If you allow them to go into negative, I certainly could have, and again, that's definable per group. But in this example, I said, don't pay it. But I want to give him some vacation because I want to show you what happens associated with that. So I'm going to go in and give this person vacation. When I give him vacation associated with that, that's going to pull from that bucket right there associated with it. Now, let's go to my summaries. My summaries are online interactive reports that are all definable by you. So I'm going to go into my FMLA qualification here. What this is looking at is a rolling 12 months worth of history right here. And I only have hours that count towards FMLA eligibility. So I want to see did Coach K work 1,250 hours to be eligible. Yep, he did. So I'm going to click on that. That's going to drill down back into a time card, and I'm going to give him what we call a combined pay code. So I'm going to give him FMLA vacation, which is unique reportable pay code, but it's also pulling from my vacation bucket. So both FMLA vacation and regular vacation are pulling from one bucket, so I can keep the integrity of that balance, yet I can see what was used for either one, and kind of taking it full circle. Here's my FMLA taken. So here's my FMLA unpaid, my FMLA vacation, FMLA sick, all in a rolling 12 months, and I could drop that into an Excel or PDF as well. All right, I'm going to keep going down here. There's a couple different things, but the next thing I want to focus on is the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, or sometimes more commonly known as Obamacare. What this is going to do is look at to see if you're under that criteria. Are you a large employer, and are you going to qualify for this? Clearly you are because of the number of employees you're going to have, but this is going to help as far as the reporting goes on a quarterly basis. We can tell you how many employees you will actually have according to your FTE. So it's going to look at your total employee FTE count, and that's only one criteria associated with what's going to be on that quarterly report. What's going to be more important to you is really the detail information behind this. So what this is going to do is provide the detail information that's going to look at these employees in a monthly segment. Are they working 130 hours above or below, and are they working over or under 30 hours per week? So if they're working 30 hours or greater, then you would be required to provide health insurance for them. If you didn't require health insurance for these employees, then you would be penalized approximately 2,000 employees per year associated with that. So what this is going to do is going to give you the detail behind these employees associated with that. So what you're looking at here, this is basically obviously the employee name. The ID is basically what's in our system and what's also in the paycheck system. The status, this is what you've assigned these employees to. So are they full-time, part-time? These status identifications are definable by you. So you could have, part-time 30, part-time 20, full-time, et cetera. Again, these are definable by you. This is going to show the average hours worked associated with it, and then it's going to show the full-time equivalent based off the criteria associated with Obamacare. So did they meet the criteria? Are they over 30 hours or 130 hours per month associated with that? So if they do, this is going to show a yes or a no there associated with that. Now, if you are trying to manage this, we can provide alerts associated with this to say, hey, this employee is now approaching that 130 per month or approaching 30 per week, and we can email a manager to make sure that they don't assign this employee any additional hours, because potentially then you could be in a situation where you, if this employee is not budgeted for health care, you're either going to have to offer this employee health care or, again, be fined for this employee roughly $2,000 per year associated with that. That information is all available right here. We can break this up into different groups. This is going to be, this time frame is based off of your evaluation period. So within the system, we can track the evaluation period, or sometimes known as the look-back period. We can also track the administrative period, and we can also track the stability period as well. So all these things within the system can be tracked, and we're looking at these, and basically we have reports. So we cannot complete the quarterly information as of yet, but we can give you all the information so you can complete that quarterly information that's going to be associated with the Affordable Care Act. I don't know if it's going to be an addendum to the 941 or it be a separate document. I think some things are still unclear on that. But again, that information is all tracked within the system. My summaries are online interactive reports that are all definable by you. So I'll show you a couple different things. One, we can go into the department summary. So this is going to be a snapshot of all my department. I can always change this for any time frame. So if I wanted to see, let's go the current year to date. So I can track that within the system. And then I can sort on any one of these. So this is defaulting to all pay codes. I can have any number of pay codes in this group. I can sort on overtime right here. So basically, which department so far this year has the most overtime? It's Department 205. I could actually click on that, and it's going to drill down into this employee. Now, in this database, these are all full-time employees. I'm going to sort one more time. So these are just the hours associated with this cost center. So these are, again, just the hours. So when you look at a lot of systems, sometimes these kind of views default to what their home assignment is. These are the actual hours worked in this assignment. These are employees that are all assigned to different departments, but these are the hours, again, associated with Department 205. All of this, again, can be dropped into an Excel spreadsheet. I can also get more granular with that information. So if I wanted to look at location, and then I wanted to actually look at department within that, and I could just simply add that. And then I could also go in and even add a job name. I could go down to as many levels as I have set up within the system. And then I could also go in here and change the time frame, including any kind of custom time frame. So I could go in and say, hey, I would like to see this information from September 6th through March 12th. And I'm just picking some random dates there. So again, here's the date range that I selected. Here's all the information broken down by location and department. And again, all these can be sorted. So which one had the most regular hours? I could see which one had the most hours total. And again, I have a lot of pay codes in here. You may not have all these pay codes. You certainly can. But again, I've set these a lot up for different demos that have requested X or Y type situation. We can look at a couple other things. Here's all exceptions. So again, I can easily see, let's pick on Elaine Bennett. Let's say it's her anniversary date. Again, this is looking at a rolling 12 months associated with this. So again, this information right here I can easily see associated with how many arrived early, tardies, left late, et cetera, do you have associated with that. So if I'm doing her review, again, I may say not the best employee, or I may be going into a manager's meeting and we may say, you know what, who had the most tardies so far this year? So I could go into the current year-to-date information, then I could sort on tardies, and now I know Elaine has 15, Charles Barkley has 4, et cetera. So I can click on that, and when I drill down into that, that's going to bring up a list of all my employees' information right here. And I'm going to go into a history from here. And let's kind of keep on a review theme. So what I want to do, I can change this time frame, and I'm going to look at this for the last 12 months. And in this view, I can define what pay code shows up, what exception shows up, and what colors they are. So for example, I have regular in black, tardy in red, unpaid in blue, overtime in red. You pick all these colors. But you can start to see trends. Is she always sick on Mondays? Does she always leave early on Fridays? Does she work every Saturday? Does she never work Saturdays? And any one of these, again, you know, like here's 20 hours of overtime, that's a lot. If I click on that, that's going to drill down to an archive time card. It's going to show me my punches right here and all my adjustments and who made those adjustments associated with it. And then here's all my old archive time cards. And you have unlimited history within the system. Again, keep in mind, these are all definable by you. Here's check overtime. So again, this is just the current week. No hours that count towards overtime. So if I list employees, who do I want to ask to stay late? I can click on this. These are the employees that I want to send home first, actually. If I click one more time, I invert that list, and these are the employees with the least amount of hours. And then I can have some other ancillary information. So if I need phone numbers in here, I have home and cell phone numbers. And again, this information is all coming from Paychex. We're pulling that into our system. The last thing I want to show you is kind of things with schedules. First of all, you can have schedule patterns within the application. So these are patterns that I can create. They don't necessarily have to be a weekly pattern. So for example, like here's a 3-week pattern. I can name this whatever I want. And again, so if I work like one Saturday every 3 weeks, I could create that pattern, then assign it to these employees, and then we're good to go. And it's going to build itself out. I can have that build itself out anywhere between 2 weeks and actually up to 2 years. Once we create those patterns, then I can modify. And I can even create a unique pattern for an employee where I'm doing that labor allocation. So if I spend half my day in a different department, a different job, I could create that, assign it to it, and then that would build itself ongoing. The employee would simply have to punch in, punch out at the end of the day, just like we did for George Costanza earlier, and it would automatically allocate that time to those different cost centers. Now I'm going to go into, let's go into next week, and we'll kind of poke around here. So I can do a couple different things here. One, I can go in and say, if I need to modify this, one, I have quick schedules. So I can have a list of quick schedules. If I need this person to work 3 to 11:30, I can just simply enter that in and assign it to them. I can also go in and modify this and say, you know what, I really need them to come at 2 p.m., and then I can treat it a lot like Excel from there. So I can go in and copy that, and then I can paste it for those different days, and let's even say on Saturday I need to do that. I can also go in and reassign these employees to different cost centers. So, you know what, today I'm going to need you in Department 200. Simply hit Enter. And again, I could have a name there. It's going to allocate all that time. So if that employee just punches in and out, all that information will be allocated to a specific department. If I have access to multiple departments, I can have a list of departments and then just pull up a department summary. I can get as granular as I want with this information, so I could do a location, a department, and a job, and then bring up a specific schedule just for that group as well, too. All right, I'm going to go in and enter time as an employee then. So this is kind of the manager functionality. Keep in mind, this tree structure can be a lot simpler if need be for the managers. You may say, this is just way too much information for them. I want it simpler. We absolutely can do that, and I can show that in a live demo as well. Okay, I'm in now as an employee. So in this situation, all an employee is going to do is simply log in, they hit punch, it creates a timestamp, and then I'm done. So 90% of the time, I'm done. I can go through this information right here. Here's my time card associated with that. So in this, I can see current and previous. I can approve that. I can also have schedules. So if we adjust schedules or have schedules in the system, this is going to show this employee. This will default to their home. Any leave time will be out there as well. Anytime I work in a different cost center, that can also be reflected in the schedule as well, so I can know where to report to. The benefit information, the managers can also see this. I'm just going to wait to show it to you here. I have sick, vacation, personal, military. Keep in mind this is going to mirror whatever your naming conventions are. And if I'm a part-time employee not eligible for this, this would be grayed out. I wouldn't have access to it. But what it's going to show is what my balance as of January 1, any grants or accruals that have taken place, all the days that I've taken so far this year. These are the days in the future that I haven't taken but are scheduled, and then here's what my projected balance is right here. And then my archive time cards. So I can go in and I can look at any of my historical time cards. So I can go in here and look at my time card from, let's just say, September 18th. So if I need to see that time card, I just simply enter the date in there. It's going to pull up the pay period associated with the day that I selected, and there it is, and then here's all my punches. Can't change anything. It's just a read-only type situation. If the employees are doing transfers in real time, I can pull up a list, go to a different job associated with that, go to a different department. If I'm never transferring my location or division or whatever you want to call these things, I could have this grayed out. I have all three of these turned on. I can have one turned on, two turned on. Or if they're never doing transfers, I could remove this button for that employee altogether. I can also request time off. So we're going to request time off here, and then I'm going to show you one final thing as a manager where they go in and approve it. So I'm going to go in and say, you know what, I would like to take, just say, June 4th off. I'm going to take vacation, and I'm going to the beach. That's going to send an email to that manager letting him or her know that I have a leave request out there, and then here's a rolling 12 months of all my leave requests with what's been approved, submitted, and denied. I'm going to go back in as a manager and show you the approval process now. I am now in as a manager again, and I'm back in the tree that we have. I have leave requests right here. Here's a list of all my employees that I have rights to. We're going to go into John Candy here, and basically here I'm going to approve this time. So he wants to take May 17th off. He's going to a wedding right there. He wants to use vacation. So I'm going to scroll down here and look at his vacation. Right now he's got 52 hours of vacation. I've already approved 8 of those hours, so his projected balance is 44. So he has enough hours, but that's only one piece of the puzzle. The second piece is coverage. So on this day he works 7 to 3:30. I have 23 people scheduled. I have 1 person absent, and I also have Bruce Banner out in that day. So if Bruce and John can't be out on the same day, then I wouldn't approve it. But in this example, I'm going to approve it. So once I approve it, what that's going to do is then update that. So now it's going to show me I have 2 people out. I have Bruce Banner and John Candy. And where did it go? So I'm going to go look at my schedule, and I'm going to go into schedules here, look at my calendar. And we're going to go down to May 17th, I think it was, and look at the 2 people out. So in this calendar, keep in mind, I can drill down to a schedule on any given day so I can see who's working. I can see who's off on any given day. I also have birthdays in here and anniversaries. And again, the birthday and anniversary information is all coming from paychecks. And I can simply click on this, and it's going to drill down to John Candy and Bruce Banner. These are going to automatically show up in the time card on this day. I don't need to do anything else. So that's kind of it for a snapshot of this. Again, the goal would be to do a live demo and look at some different scenarios for you. Hopefully this will work for you. I look forward to an opportunity to speak with you in the near future. Thank you.